All right, Los Angeles Rams at the Philadelphia Eagles. They played twice last year. Eagles favored by 3.5. Your over-under 44.5 from FanDuel. Back in Philadelphia, they played in LA last year. Then they played in Philadelphia in the divisional round. Remember, the Rams lost by 6, the closest game that the Eagles had on their run to the Super Bowl.
Lost by 6 and had the ball late with a chance to get the score.
Like in a snowy divisional round game. Yeah. It will not be snowy this week, I think. We'll check the weather. I don't.
Which
think
you would have said, snowy divisional round. Normally that's to throw an asterisk on the game of some description. But you would have said those weather conditions helped Philadelphia as a general concept last year more than the Rams, So, yeah, the Rams had the best game of anybody against Philadelphia in the playoffs in conditions that you would say were optimal for Philadelphia, not the Rams.
And I think the story last year when they played was the Eagles' run game and the big plays from Saquon Barkley when they played early in the year on Sunday Night Football. That was when Saquon just kept rattling off these big runs.
Yeah.
And they were hanging tough, and then boom, the Eagles just dominate up front. And on paper, they have the size advantage over Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk and this defensive front of the Rams. So that's how they won it the first time. And then in the second one, it was at the first play from scrimmage. It was almost immediately Saquon reels off a big run, and he finishes with 205 yards on 26 carries, including a 78-yarder, 2 touchdowns in there. So the 2 games, you actually didn't get much from Philadelphia's pass game, but they didn't need it. Jalen Hurts in the divisional round game sacked 7 times and only had 15 completions. I mean, so it is one of those games where I feel like the Eagles have the on-paper advantage, but the volatility of long runs also makes me think, hey, Rams, just avoid a couple bad run fits and getting blown off the line of scrimmage, and you have a chance to win this game. And I think the Rams, from a variance perspective, they have a little bit more juice on offense this year than they did last year with Devontae Adams there and Stafford looking good. And maybe just don't give up 60, 70 yarders to Saquon, and it's going to be a pretty close game.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of a few games last year where there were several Philadelphia performances that kind of all fit the same script, which is it's a close game for a lot of it, and then eventually the Eagles are able to just lean on teams in the run game, and Saquon busts off a couple of big runs, and that's kind of the difference. They end up going away. Now, what was different with the Rams is they found a way of coming back at the end as well in the playoffs. But generally, I mean, even the Eagles kind of did that to the Chiefs last week as well. The NGS had a couple of interesting nuggets on the Eagles offense, Jalen Hurts. He recorded against Kansas City his 7th career win with fewer than 130 passing yards, including the playoffs, which is the most wins like that of any quarterback since Hurts came into the league in 2020. He's now 2-0 this season despite throwing fewer than 160 passing yards and 0 touchdowns in both games, which is the first time a quarterback has started the season 2-0 without throwing a touchdown in the last 15 years.
So I think we're going to get a lot of these first-time ever type of records, right? Lamar Jackson already has the most rushing yards for a quarterback in history. Right. Josh Allen just passed Thurman Thomas, Hall of Fame running back for rushing touchdowns, and we're 8 years into his career. Allen, right? 7 years into his career, whatever it is. And so you're going to get a lot of these first-time ever stats because it's a different era where it's not only is it easier to pass than ever before in the last decade or so in the NFL, but you've got more running quarterbacks than ever before. So
not just running, but also the short yardage stuff.
And then the tush push in particular, right? Yeah. Because Hurts, how many touchdowns? He had double-digit touchdowns last year, right? Because of it.
Like Cam Newton was the first guy to sort of genuinely be used as a red zone, low red zone, short yardage, dynamic threat, rushing threat as a touchdown scorer. And he has 75 career rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen's already at 67.
Yeah.
And he's not even they're not using him the way the Eagles use Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Like he'll be
because he's got a much better offense than Cam had for the majority of his career outside of the one MVP season. So Allen has more opportunities, but they're not, as you said, relying on him exclusively in the red zone.
Like Hurts is up to 58 rushing touchdowns already, career.
But my point with that is it's just a completely different style, and it is a shorten the game type of style, and I think strategically, defensively, it's like, can you avoid 3rd and 4th and 1s? I mean, you want to avoid all big plays against the Eagles, but right now, through 2 weeks, they've got, 2 explosive passes in there? Off the top of my head, the post to Jahan Dotson week 1, the jump ball to Devontae Smith in week 2. By the way, just because they haven't done it, it's a pretty good track record of Jalen Hurts getting the ball down the field to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Like, it's still there. The Eagles still have that in the bag, I believe, but they haven't needed it these last couple weeks. They have shortened the game. Defense has done a really nice job, especially in the second half of games, and they've run the clock. They've run it out. And last week in particular, they did not get Saquon Barkley going early. I think he had a nice little touchdown run. Then he slowed down for a little bit. They just fed him in the second half, and that's been their style. So I'll repeat it again. The Eagles have a million different ways to win. The defense is legit. I still think they have an explosive pass game if they need it. But yeah, there's a lot of games where the game flow just dictates, hey, we've got this thing in control. We're going to be a run-heavy team. We're going to shorten it up and slow it down, and we're going to do 7 tush pushes, which I think Renner said was 20% of their plays last week. If you think that 20% of the Eagles' offense looked like rugby, you're correct. That's what it was last week.
That's pretty crazy.
It is. Hey, guys, real quick. Only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action.
Yeah, look, the Eagles are dominant on the ground right now between Saquon Barkley, between what they can do in short yardage. So that's the task for the Rams defense is, in a weird way, you have to force them. It's the exact opposite of what you do for most teams. You have to force them to the air. You have to force them into the high variance, highly volatile, but also extremely dangerous deep down the field shot because they're not as good at that.
From a Rams perspective, again, they're number 1 in the league in points per game allowed through 2 weeks. It's all through 2 weeks. It's all the caveats here. Mm-hmm. But as I said, at the end of last year, when they put their starters out there, they were giving up under 10 points in their last 4 games. This defense is on a run, and they did give up 28 to Philly in that playoff game. If you take out some of the Saquon runs, you can't take them out. They happened. Will the Rams give those up this week? That's my big question. I feel like they can.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a case of taking them out. It's just a case of, like, look at the only thing that the Chiefs successfully did in the Super Bowl was bottle up Saquon Barkley. And obviously they lost everywhere else in the Super Bowl, so it didn't matter. But the point is, if the Rams are able to do that, like if the Rams can actually stop those plays happening, well, that does potentially make the difference.
And that's what makes the Eagles dangerous, by the way. We could pull out all these stats, and look, I see the haters online for Jalen Hurts. I see the haters like, oh, his dink and dunk, and he's got the lowest average depth of target in the NFL, and he's got this or that. Like, he's playing to win. He's doing what Mike McDaniel said. You play to win, and if you win, you win. If you lose, you're going to lose.
Can't win without winning.
And they're winning because they win, and they're playing to win. Got it?
Not really.
So they're playing the game flow here. Like, the Eagles haven't had a bad offense the last couple of weeks. That they hit a bad stretch against Kansas City, I would say, but they were cooking against Dallas, and then they got slowed down. They tried to slow down the game, and the run game got
I think
stymied.
Yeah, the point is that nobody else has yet forced them to find out if they can pass still, right? Like at the moment,
they have a history of being able to do it, including in the Super Bowl where Saquon did almost nothing and they put up a million points.
Right. In their past, this Philadelphia offense has absolutely been able to pass the football and been good doing it. They've also had times where they've been relatively rudimentary in the passing game, and Jalen Hurts has been criticized of, well, can he really do everything in the pass game? Is this offense a little bit Mickey Mouse from that regard if they can't run the ball and blah, blah, blah? None of that is relevant if you can't stop the ground game, right? It's only relevant if you can actually bottle up Saquon Barkley, stop them in a couple of short yardage situations, and force them into the passing game. If you can't make them do that, then it doesn't matter whether they can do it or not because they don't need to. At the moment, they don't need to. Jalen Hurts, the run game, it's completely crushing people, and they're able to win these games without having to figure out if Jalen Hurts in the passing game still has that connection. If the Rams can force them into that, it might be a much more interesting game.
Couple matchups, I think, for the Rams here. Stafford playing much better. I know we spoke so much about his back. I haven't seen any issues there. The concern still, if you get hit 4, 5, 6 times a game, who knows? But the dude's throwing it, zipping it, looking good connection with both Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. covering both of those guys, I think, is going to be difficult for the Eagles. That cornerback 2 spot for Philly, if you're picking out weaknesses opposite Quinyon Mitchell, I think that's something the Rams can exploit.
Dory Jackson's been attacked quite a bit.
Yeah, and so I think the Rams have that advantage. And look, overall, I think they did it sounds stupid, right? But they did a pretty good job defensively outside of the explosive runs that they allowed to Saquon Barkley last year. So they're going to crowd the box, try to take those away, force the Eagles to win through the air, which they're capable of.
Yeah.
But might be a lower percentage shot here.
But it's
Philly.
also, it's a new year. You don't know if that's working yet. I mean, they have shown in the past they're absolutely capable of that. We don't know if they're able to do it right now and just turn it on like a switch. And that's the thing the Rams have to find out is, is this offense, is this passing attack for Philadelphia simply dormant at the moment because they haven't really needed to tap into it? Or is it actually struggling for some reason and nobody else has yet really forced them to try and lean on it?
And then just the Rams, Jared Verse against Jordan Mailata.
Yeah. Remember the highlight reel.
The highlight reel.
Now, there's some mitigating circumstances there, but it's kind of like the Shamar Stewart versus Josh Connerly play at the Senior Bowl. It's like simply being able to take a dude that size and launch him into the air is in itself insane. The fact that he had a running start horizontally and timed the snap, et cetera, I mean, it's not irrelevant, but it's kind of beside the point. Like, I could take a 15-yard run up at Jordan Mailata, and even if he didn't know it was coming, like if he was facing the opposite direction, I couldn't do that to him. Like, the fact that he's able to literally launch a 360-something pound man backwards through the air is crazy.
It's incredible. He can do it. One other sneaky good addition for the Rams, Poona Ford added to their defensive front. I keep mentioning, Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk. Poona Ford as a undersized fire hydrant type of body who's very good in the run game. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he changes everything against Saquon, but that's the type of addition that makes the run defense better. And again, if that's one of the keys to stopping one of those explosives, I think it gives the Rams a chance. As we talk through it, I'm feeling Rams here. The line's at 3 at the moment. Eagles favored by 3 here. Where are you going to go with this one?
Yeah, the more we talked it out, I definitely started to like the Rams more too, but I'm going with the Eagles.
We need some data on when we talk ourselves into it. Like, is our analysis too one-sided?
The line has moved 2-3 points. It's only when it crosses 3 that it's a really big deal, right? Moving from 3.5 to 3 is not the big deal. It's moving from 3 to 2.5 would be the big watershed threshold for the betting people.
Yeah. I'm going to take the Rams to cover on the road here. I don't know, man. I love this. This is potential NFC Championship preview. This is a legit game here in Week 3. Harry's going to take the Eagles. It's Sunday at 1, by the way. We get an elite game here at 1 p.m. Sunday.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?